Hi, I'm Allison Campbell, and I have been thinking a lot about transitions that we as scientists undergo. We may transition into a new area of science, or we may transition to a new type of instrumentation for conducting our work, or maybe may transition to a new location for doing our science, or from the laboratory to the field. And so that's something that I wanted to explore today, is how we as scientists deal with transition, how we address transition, and how we use it to advance our professional careers and our scientific interests. I'm here with Bayat and Jason, and we are in the ARM Aerial Facility hangar in Pasco, Washington. The plane and the scientists that are in the plane have been doing a lot of diverse science, yes, from looking at the impacts of the Kuwaiti oil fires to pristine environments like the Amazon. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about some of the unique science that has resulted from this aircraft.
Well, one of the most successful ones, certainly the mission in the Amazon, was flying through, as you said, pristine on one hand, but also then the plume from Manaus, a city of about 3 million people. So, and every day we would cross through that plume, and it was so clear in all our data, we could see it.
So that's a real transition from a pristine environment to a polluted environment.
And scientists talk about it as the closest you can come to a laboratory by being able to study, because it's just this plume and there's no other sources around for thousands of miles. Wow. And so, yeah, and a lot of papers have been written about that in high impact journals.
Yeah. This plane is sadly going to go away, and it's seen some great science along the years. But we're not going to stop doing the science. We're getting a new plane. We're transitioning into a new plane. Tell me a little bit about that, and what's the new opportunities that plane will allow us to do?
Yeah, so the new plane is actually going to be a jet, not a turboprop. Yeah. So that's definitely different. For the longest time, we were debating, is that the right thing to do or not? And we actually even went to flight simulators to try to figure out, can we fly can do the type of flights that we're doing now, low and slow, still low and slow, and is that doable in a jet? And turned out it was.
You know, one thing about the jet, one thing we always were limited with the G1 aircraft that was great at the low and slow. It could not really get us to higher altitude measurements, even middle level measurements in the atmosphere.
Tell me what that is in feet.
So, for example, we were usually topped at around 20,000 feet in this aircraft. So now the next aircraft will allow us to get up into the mid-30s, 30,000, 35,000 feet. That will allow us to start making more measurements of ice in the atmosphere. That's still really a big unknown, the formation of ice nucleation, and how ice impacts the environment and the atmosphere. So being able to get to those altitudes will allow us to sample cirrus clouds.
So it opens up the whole new era, sort of whole new altitude and area of science.
And we'll have considerably more payload. Yes. We'll be able to fly more instruments, more scientists. Often we had to leave the principal investigator on the ground because there was not room for one more person. That will no longer be a problem. So it'll be more, even more interactive than it used to be. But Jason, you might want to talk. But mostly, I mean, there's a lot of transition in the science space.
There's a lot of transitions in the sense of instruments alone. You know, one thing about the G1 aircraft we mentioned, it flies lower, 25,000 feet. This next aircraft will go to a lot higher altitudes, a lot lower pressures. So there's a lot of lab testing in our future. The next 18 months or so, we'll be testing a lot of our equipment to see how it perform at these lower pressures. So we'll be working along that area of either modifying, buying new equipment potentially.
Is that the stuff that goes on the outside of the plane or the inside, or
a lot of the stuff inside?
Inside, okay.
And then the stuff on the outside, we'll have to modify the canisters a bit. We're flying a little bit faster on these aircraft, so there'll be some issues with static buildup. We'll have to break off static better. There's also a lot of work going on inside the aircraft when it comes to just data acquisition and networking. We've learned a lot of experience, we'll put it that way, experiences, hard-learned lessons over the years on the G1 aircraft, of things that we could do better. And then even the most important work, too, we're going to start designing and thinking about how we're going to test the next aircraft. How do we say the next aircraft's mission ready? So we're doing a lot of work internally on that and making those decisions, what kind of metrics it has to meet before we say, hey, it is now ready to go on flight missions.
Great. Well, that was really interesting talking with Jason and Bayat, and I learned a few things. Transitions open up a lot of new opportunities. In this case, This plane has been a workhorse, but it has certain limitations in where it can go, how high it can fly, and the amount of weight it can carry. And the new plane will open up a whole new set of scientific questions and frontiers because it has expanded capabilities. I also learned that transitions can be, they can be highs and lows for people and for capabilities. And while you might think that you're going through a transition that is maybe bittersweet and sad, it really is a new opportunity to think about new things that you can do, new experiments that you can run, new places that you can venture to conduct your science. And I challenge you to think about the transitions that you're going through and really to reach out and to embrace them.